Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're unpacking something truly fascinating, and that is 5 skills for smarter living. We're talking about 5 highly practical mental frameworks that can give absolutely anyone a massive advantage in life. And look, we aren't talking about genetics here or things you basically can't control. We're talking about actionable, everyday strategies that you can literally start using the second this explainer is over.
Okay, let's dive into this. We constantly see people who just seem to effortlessly navigate life, right? They're always making the right moves at the exact right times, and it naturally makes us ask this very question. What makes the top 1% smarter than everyone else? Well, the core premise we're establishing today is that exceptional thinking really isn't about raw intelligence or having off-the-charts IQ. It's actually entirely about these rare, actionable habits that shape how a person interacts with the world around them.
So let's jump right into our first framework. Skill 1, thinking 2 steps ahead.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it highlights what we call thinking in second-order consequences. Most people, they just look at the immediate result of an action, what happens right this second. But exceptional thinkers, they understand that every single decision creates another decision in this constant unfolding chain reaction. Imagine you're offered a higher-paying job. The average person just asks, okay, how much will I earn? But the exceptional person is evaluating that exact same opportunity 5 years out. They're asking, what skills will I gain? What new opportunities is this going to create? What daily habits will this job build? Or honestly, completely destroy? They're looking way past that immediate payout to see the true long-term cost or benefit.
And here's the scenario building process you can actually use to map this out in your own life. You make a choice, and then immediately, and this is the secret sauce, you ask yourself, and then what? You just keep asking that question until you can clearly see 3 or 4 steps ahead. The people who consistently make good choices, they aren't just getting lucky. They simply look further down the road before making big decisions. That one single question, and then what, can absolutely change the entire trajectory of your life. Moving right along to skill 2, learn by teaching others. It's kind of wild how the human brain processes information. Because the absolute fastest way to thoroughly understand any concept is to actually try and explain it to someone else. Just look at the average person. They consume information endlessly, right? Podcasts, videos, books, but they never actually use what they learn. The exceptional learner does the exact opposite. Right after learning something new, they teach it immediately. They'll explain it to a friend, jot it out in a notebook, or even just say it out loud to an imaginary audience in their car. Why? Because the very moment you try to simplify information to teach it, your brain suddenly discovers what you truly know versus what you're just kind of pretending to understand. So the crucial point is really captured by this idea Einstein famously hinted at. If you can't explain it simply, you probably don't understand it yet. Just let that sink in for a second. Knowledge only becomes real, tangible, and actually useful to you when you have the ability to break it down and simplify it. Until then, it's honestly just noise.
All right, that brings us to skill 3, recognizing life's hidden patterns. Have you ever noticed how highly successful people almost seem like they're literally predicting the future? From the outside, it looks like magic. But here's the thing, they aren't predicting anything. While average people walk through life seeing this series of completely random, disconnected events, smart people see the patterns. They notice how things interconnect. They realize that life repeats itself way more often than we think. And noticing this pattern recognition is exactly what stops you from making the same exact mistakes over and over again.
And this brilliantly illustrates how life basically leaves clues everywhere. You start to notice the same mistakes showing up in totally different situations. You see the same habits leading to the exact same results. You catch the same excuses creating the same failures. By just paying a little bit of attention to these clues, both in your own life and by watching others, you're arming yourself with incredibly valuable data. And the more patterns you notice, the fewer nasty surprises you'll ever have to face.
Shifting gears a bit, let's look at skill 4, detaching emotion from decisions.
Most bad decisions usually aren't because someone lacks intelligence. Highly intelligent people make absolutely terrible decisions all the time. Why does that happen? Because in those critical high-stakes moments, their emotions completely take the steering wheel. Anger, fear, ego, and even positive emotions like extreme excitement can completely distort your logical judgment. If we force ourselves to make decisions immediately while we're under the influence of these intense feelings, we're essentially guaranteeing a suboptimal outcome. But rare thinkers know a truly powerful secret. You don't actually have to make every decision right this second. When you feel those emotions rising up, just wait. Sleep on it. Take a quiet walk. Tell them you'll decide tomorrow. By intentionally slowing things down, you give your rational brain the time it desperately needs to catch up. Because distance creates clarity. It really is that simple. The less emotional you are, the more logical and precise your decisions become. We live in this crazy, fast-paced world that constantly demands immediate reactions, so please remember this takeaway. Being calm is absolutely not a weakness. It is a massive strategic advantage.
Which beautifully leads us to our final framework, Skill 5, asking exceptional questions.
Let's move to and see how this builds on everything we've talked about. Most people spend their entire lives blindly searching for answers, right? But exceptional people, they search for far better questions. Just look at the average response to a tough situation. Why is this happening to me? Asking that automatically keeps you stuck playing the role of a victim. But the exceptional question, what is this situation trying to teach me? That immediately moves you forward with agency and purpose. It literally reframes a frustrating setback into a masterclass.
Or think about when you're facing a brand new challenge. The average person asks a closed-loop question, can I do this? And if their initial gut feeling is no, well, they just quit. But the exceptional person asks, what skills do I need to make this possible? See the difference? That's an open-loop question that invites growth. The reality is, the overall quality of your life is often directly determined by the quality of the questions you ask yourself every single day.
And this powerful chain reaction really summarizes the ultimate value of these 5 skills for smarter living. When you purposefully change your questions, you systematically change your thinking. And when you change your thinking, you inevitably change your future. It's a direct, undeniable progression.
So here's what I want to leave you with today to ponder. Look at a challenge you're facing right now, the exact hurdle that's on your mind today, and ask yourself, what is this current situation trying to teach me right now? Don't just react to it, learn from it. Start applying this 1% mindset today and just watch how quickly your world begins to open up. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.